Hello everyone, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to use ggplot and a new library, dplyr, that we're going to be able to visualize individual subject data with repeated measurement. Okay, so longitudinal data at the individual subject data, at this individual subject level. So I'm going to use ggplot to visualize things, and I'm going to use dplyr to be able to arrange the data in a way so that it makes my plot a little bit more visually easy to be able to decipher what's going on within the plot. Okay, but we'll build up to that. So I'm going to first start with my function ggplot, and I'm going to use this data frame here, tint.dfg. It has a participant ID, it has trial, and it has time and target. And those are the things I'm going to visualize. It also has, I can use, if I don't want to look at it in this kind of Excel format, I can just do names, tint.dfg. I can see that I have time and target, trial, ID, age, sex, race, a lot of different variables. We're just going to focus primarily on ID and age for today. So I'm going to put in tint.dfg, AES, which stands for aesthetic, X is going to equal trial, Y is equal TINT, time and target, and then group is going to equal ID. And that is basically going to tell it how the layers that I am now building up in my ggplot function, how to connect the lines and the points that I'm calling with geom point and geom line in my graph to be able to group them together. It's going to be based upon this ID variable. Okay, so I'm going to run that, and it's going to be a big mess. So as I can see, there's essentially a lot of variability here, but I can't really tell where one subject begins and another one ends. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is a very handy function called FacetWrap. I'm going to use the tilde, and I'm going to basically now use ID as the way that ggplot will now make one plot with 83 subplots that are faceted by my variable ID. And when I run that, it's going to take a little bit longer to render, but when it does, I can now see the finished product is 83 plots. In each of these plots, I have a subtitle with the participant ID, so 109 to 300, and I have the individual subject data for each of them across all trials by my Y variable, time and target. Okay, now say that for instance I want to now be able to better visualize these data based off of participant age. I can now add in a new parameter called color age, my variable age that I have within this data frame. Run that now. And what I can see now is that the shade of blue for each individual participant plot is going to be dependent on their age, with the darker blue representing a younger participant and a lighter blue representing an older participant. Now this is still a little not super clean way to visualize this because the ages are all kind of randomly dispersed throughout. So instead I am now going to use the dplyr package to be able to arrange the data so that the first plot will be the youngest participant and the last plot will be the oldest participant, to kind of give it a little more visual appeal as well and logic to it. So I'm going to go into the first argument of ggplot, and I'm going to modify my tint.dfg variable here, and I'm going to use the function called arrange. Now the thing is that I'm going to call, I've already loaded dplyr into my R kind of memory, but there are actually several packages that use the function arrange, and you don't want to fall into a trap where you have all of these libraries loaded and R does not know which arrange function you're calling. If you have multiple libraries with the same arrange function, it will kind of throw an error when it's not, you don't intend it to, and you kind of get confused as to why that is. So I'm going to show you how you explicitly call a function for a specific library. And what you do is you're going to start writing out the library, and then you're going to do a double colon, and then you're going to type in the function name, arrange. And for arrange function in dplyr, I'm going to use my data set, and then I'm going to create, and I'm going to tell it how to arrange the data. I'm going to say arrange it by age. And now if I run this just as it is, it's going to actually produce the same plot, because I need to tell it that I need to facet it. Now instead of by ID, I want to facet it by age. So I'm going to run that now. And now I see that I have my youngest participant starting in the top at 19 years old, and then my oldest participant at the very end of 78 years old. Now the issue you can see here is that if I have multiple participants of the same age, their data all gets put into one subplot. As you can see, I have fewer plots here than I had at the previous plot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to facet by two variables. I'm going to facet by age and ID, so that I now have individual plots for each participant, and with the color still representing their age, still going in the arrangement that I want it to. Alright, and so all I have to do for that is I'm going to change this a little bit by age tilde ID. So what this represents, and now it's a little bit harder to see. We might do something where we suppress how these things are, but it does give me, you know, for visualization purposes, it does give me everything that I want. It probably isn't manuscript ready, but it is something that I would probably suppress the ID number and then just use the age subtitle in and of itself. There's a way to do that. Way we can look into it later, but I can see here that my first participant, my youngest participant of ID 234, who's at age 19, is my lightest blue. And then as I continue to move down, I can see that I have at the very end here my oldest participant at 78 years old of ID 221. So now if I see anybody, I can kind of look and see what their age is, be able to kind of understand exactly what these issues may be, if there's anything I need to correct for, anybody I need to remove because maybe their data is from lack of effort or whatever the case may be. So this is a very quick and easy way, only 4 lines of code, to be able to visualize all these things very quickly. So hopefully that was a kind of valuable lesson on how to be able to use just 2 packages to be able to create an individual subject data plot that can be ordered by any type of continuous variable using the dplyr arrange function. Alright, so I'm sure there may be future questions. I'm happy to make future tutorials, but hopefully you find this helpful in being able to visualize your own data just for your own kind of sanity check of data quality. Alright, have a great week, and I'll see you next time.